Hey, fellow mathers! Welcome to the podcast where math is FigureOutable. I'm Pam Harris, a former mimicker turned mather.
And I'm Kim Montague, a reasoner who now knows how to share her thinking with others. At Math is FigureOutable, we are on a mission to improve math teaching.
We know that algorithms are super cool historic achievements, but y'all, they're terrible teaching tools because mimicking step-by-step procedures actually traps students into using less sophisticated reasoning than the problems are intended to develop and use.
In this podcast, we help you teach mathing, building relationships with your students, and grappling with mathematical relationships.
We invite you to join us to make math more FigureOutable.
Hey,
Kim.
howdy. How's it going?
It's going fast and furious and fun and all the things.
Marching towards the end of 2025. It's
Woo!
Unreal. I know.
It is unreal. Yeah.
We are wrapping up the end of this year with some fun episodes. So last week, we gave you the first 6 of the 12 days of Christmas, Math is FigureOutable style. And so this week, we are going to share 6 more of our favorite things that you can dive into in 2026. It sounds so weird to say.
Hey, before we dive into the next 6, it does sound weird to say. Have you seen the Number Blocks Christmas episode?
No.
It's the 12 days of Christmas, and it's hilarious. It's super cute. I watched it with my 2 grandsons. I don't even know how to describe it, but it is super cute. They
Check
end up
it
with,
out.
well, it kind of makes sense. They end up with 12 different trees because it's like every time they repeat, on the 10th day of Christmas, blah, 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 and it goes all the way down. So they would build like a tree with all of them. And then when they'd start over, they would build a new tree with all of them. I don't know if that makes any sense. So there was like 12 on the bottom and then 11 and then 10 and so it forms like a triangle. You can picture like centering those. Yeah, it was really cool. Number Blocks never disappoints. They never disappoint.
Never. Yeah,
super
for sure.
Good. All right. So the next 6 free things for Math is FigureOutable. Let's start with the Math is FigureOutable teacher Facebook group.
Yeah.
Which I am not a fan of Facebook or Zuckerberg or any of that stuff. However, we do take advantage of the opportunity to sort of gather there as a community and do all things Math is FigureOutable. And Kim, may I just say, you do a fantastic job of keeping the conversations there FigureOutable, aligned. Like we really encourage people to join in and ask questions. But we also monitor the Facebook group and we make sure that it's just not, what is it not? It's, how would you describe?
It's not complaining about teachers and parents and admin at all. It's not, we're anti everything that you're here for. I mean, it's a Math is FigureOutable community and we absolutely welcome questions and wonders and does this fit? But it is called the Math is FigureOutable community for a reason. And I'm super grateful for all the people who have been around for quite some time or have found us recently and they contribute such positive things. I can't get in there all the time and I miss stuff. And we have a great community there who supports math being FigureOutable and throw in their ideas and classroom experience. Yeah, it's a great place to be.
Super, super place to be. So we invite you to join the Math is FigureOutable teacher Facebook group. Great community. Love to have you there.
Yeah. And just like last week, we're going to put all the links that you will need for these free things in the show notes. Day 8, another round of What We Love, the Math is FigureOutable podcast, part 2. We have chosen a couple of the most maybe important episodes, really key things about Math is FigureOutable. Yeah, impact. Like if you need to know what Math is FigureOutable is all about, then you could dive on episode 156, which we titled Start Here on purpose. Sometimes people reach out and say, hey, what's the first episode to go to? And so we just called it Start Here. That's episode 156. Really, I'm sneaking this in because it's more than one episode. The develop.
Well, hey, before you go to the next one, can I actually? Sorry.
No,
on that Start Here. If you've been around for a while and you want something to hand to somebody, you're like, hey, I'm really interested in what these guys are talking about. We think Math is FigureOutable really might have something. You're trying to start a conversation with somebody. that Start Here, episode 156, would be a really great one for them to listen to so that you can start the conversation. All right.
Yeah, for sure.
Now you're about to talk about a series of 3 episodes on developing mathematical reasoning.
Yeah, it's actually 4. So that's okay.
Count.
We visited DMR in episode 5 and 6. And then again in 67 and 68. So some back-to-back episodes. You can see what we added on in the later episodes. Kind of are just like guiding. I almost said guiding light.
Guiding principles, guiding
bedrock,
principles.
Yeah,
foundational stuff. Yeah.
And then a more recent episode 377. How do we have that many episodes? We did one called "What is Fluency Anyway?" So we raised some ideas about fluency and what it means, and fluency.
Okay, I'm going to laugh just a little bit. I think we are recording today episode 288. So I think it might have had to have been 277.
I'm a liar then. We'll see.
So
that's
close.
why it sounds so weird.
So close.
277.
I will say though, do you know how often, you probably don't because I don't tell you, I get emails a lot from people trying to monetize our podcast or get guests on our podcast, or it's always funny when they're like, this person would be a great guest on your podcast. And they say it in a way that they assume we have guests on the podcast, which we may someday.
Yeah.
At the moment, we don't. We never have had guests on the podcast. I say it's funny because it's that moment where it's like, you obviously have never listened to our podcast or have any idea what we do.
Yeah.
But people reach out all the time. And one of the most consistent things I'm starting to hear, so I've gotten that reach out for 3 years now, but I'm starting to hear your podcast is running longer than 90% of podcasts or 95% of podcasts.
Yeah.
So the fact that we've been running as long as we have, as consistently as we have, is kind of a big deal. So, when you say, whoa, do we have that many? I mean, we have a lot of podcasts.
Yeah.
And it is pretty cool. And I will give you a lot of credit, Kim, for keeping the consistency going. You are the taskmaster, the whipcracker, Pam, we got to record podcast, and it's brilliant that we've been able to keep it going, and we have not missed an episode in
5 years,
3 years,
over 5.
Is it really that long?
Yes.
Bam!
It's a long time. And
So
as always, we're always interested to know what people want to hear on the podcast. You can email me, Kim, at mathisfigureoutable.com for your ideas, or throw them in the teacher Facebook group that you're going to join.
There you go, because the Math is Figureoutable Teacher Facebook group is a great place for you to be. Yep. Okay, so day 9 of the Math is Figureoutable 12 Days of Christmas style. I just said that wrong.
It's fine.
12 Days of Christmas Math is Figureoutable style. Put those words together in some order that makes sense to you. Is the Math is Figureoutable blog. So you may or may not know that we have a blog. We were not very, just speaking of consistency, this is what it looks like.
That's because you were in charge.
I was in charge. When Kim is in charge, the podcast goes out every week without fail. When Pam is in charge, we have a random blog that goes out when I can get it out. Although we do have somebody helping now with the blog, and it will be a lot more consistent. We do have some fantastic blog posts out there. I'll mention a few of them that you might check out. So we have one called Questioning that's all about styles or patterns of questioning, because individual questions are not as important as how you confer with students. I'll give Kathy Fosno credit for that phrase. Check that one out. Or there's one called Teaching Routine for Building Important Mental Math Strategies, which is all about Kim's routine that she made up called I Have You Need. And it does a bunch of stuff with I Have You Need, goes into some secondary content. So it's not just a numeracy routine, but a way that you can get secondary students building mental math strategies. So that's a nice one to check out. And then you might also be interested in a blog that we have called Problem Strings Are Not. And so it's a great way for you to get more clear on what problem strings are, because we sort of contrast it with what you might be thinking problem strings are, and they're actually not. So what are problem strings? My favorite way to teach math. This would be a great way for you to sort of dive in and get some ideas, how to differentiate between what a problem string is and isn't. Right now you might be like, Pam, who cares? Well, I think that one of the best ways that we can teach is to get better at teaching problem strings. It's not the only way to teach, but it's a fantastic inroad. And it's great because no matter how proficient you are as a master, you can always refine facilitating a problem string. And it gives us a common instructional routine to talk about. so we can all get better at this one way of facilitating teaching. And facilitating teaching, is that the way I want to say that? One way getting better at facilitating math learning. And it gives us a conversation K-12 that we can really have conversations about. And so I think that's a helpful thing to do. So there are some blogs that you can check out. Like I said, we're putting them out more and more frequently. So check that out. If you have an RSS feeder, I don't know if people even still do that anymore, but you can stick our blog into that and know when a new one comes out. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, another great link that we're going to share with you is to the website, and is specifically to a page where you can see, I'm going to say it, I'm saying it laughing because this is what you say and it makes me crazy every time, real problem strings with real teachers and real students as if they're fake. Problem strings with teachers in classrooms. We've got one for each grade band, K2, 3, 5, 6, 8, 9, 12. See the kids, see full-length video of kids in action. We have write-ups of a problem string all about math and the structure of the mathematics. We have specific teacher moves that we call out. We have, for some of them, I think there's transcript up there. We have a half sheet that gives you examples of things you can say and what you can notice as you facilitate these problem strings. But they're a fantastic start if you are a classroom teacher and you want to try problem strings in your classroom. This is a great place to start because you can see it happen with real kids.
Why do you hate it so bad when I say real kids in real classrooms with real teachers?
I don't mind their real classrooms and real teachers, but they're always real kids. Like, are they going to be fake? Because some people are like, they maybe
could
are
have
like
actors,
a model teacher. I mean, but they're still kids, aren't they? It's fine. It's fine. You say what you want.
You do like to poke at me when I call kids real kids. Okay. All right. Yeah. And I will say my teaching changed when I saw Kathy Fosno's teachers do problem strings, when I actually saw them enacted with real kids and I saw learning like I never knew was possible. Like, I think I had to see the interaction before a lot of what I was reading in those NSF funded curricula and the articles in the mathematics teacher, and like pick the articles in Jeremy, the research journal, as I was reading where people would advocate these teacher moves when I was teaching math as fake math and a set of procedures to mimic, none of that stuff rang true. It didn't make sense. Why you would have discourse in math class about steps that you were mimicking. Like, it just, until I saw the learning happening, that's when I started to go, oh, wait a minute. There's a whole world out there that I now have access to. So we highly recommend it. Check it out. When you sit down over the holidays, you kick back, you got the remote in your hand. You're like, what should we watch, honey? Pull up a video of a problem string.
Okay.
and watch it happen. And then I just invite you to consider that learning can be maybe different than it was for you growing up. All right.
Yeah, for sure.
Day 11 of the 12 Days of Christmas Math is FigureOutable Style. We have a Numberclub webinar that we did with creator David Tim. He's from across the pond, where he and I talked all about super cool games that he's created. We really like a good math game, and boy, we are picky when it comes to things that we will promote. Kim and I just actually had to send 3 emails this week. And let me just be clear. Well, how do I say this? 3 denial emails, rejection emails. Those are sort of hard. 3 emails that said, thanks so much for asking us to endorse your thing. Your product, your thing is fine. It's fine. It's not going to hurt anybody. Teachers will get some use out of it. It's decent. I know that just sounds terrible, but what we're not going to endorse something unless it's good, unless it really aligns with what we do. And
I was going to say good, meaning it's in alignment with pretty much everything we believe.
Yeah.
It's about alignment for us.
It's about alignment. And so the Numberclub games align like maybe none that we've seen before. Is that safe to say? So we've got, they're very unique. They are math. Kim, I don't know if I told you this the other day. I was at a church event and we had some downtime, and this super cool kid, I think he's 11. knows that if he asks to play on my phone, I will say no, but I will let him play Number Club games. And he's only ever played Stick and Split. And I knew that Number Ramble was out and I hadn't even downloaded it yet. So I went and downloaded it on the App Store and I was like, dude, play this game. And it was so fun watching him. I didn't even tell him how to play. I did one move for him. I just like say, here, you could do this. And then he just was off. And Kim, you might find this interesting. You can tell me if I should include. We can totally have this edited out of the podcast if this is silly to say.
but we don't do that very often.
We don't. On Number Ramble. So Number Ramble, you have factors along the bottom, and then you're trying to make the product at the top, and you go from factor to factor. And so if you're trying to get, let's say that you're starting on 6 and you're trying to get to 8, you have to go from 6. You have to divide by 3 to get to 2. And then you multiply by 2 to get to 4, and you multiply by 2 to get to 8.
Yeah.
He thought that say that you were on 2 and you had 2, 3, and 5, and you needed to get to 5. He thought that you would have to multiply by 3, divide by 3, and then multiply by 5. Oh, and I should have, say you're on 1. So to get from 1 to 5, he thought you'd have to picture the board, but 3's in the middle between between 2 and 5. So if he's over here at in the 2 column, but he's at 1, I'm making this so confusing. He thought he had to go through 3 to get to 5. Does that make sense? Like he had to multiply by 3, divide by 3 to then go to 5.
Yeah. Why do you think that?
Because it's in the middle. But what he didn't know is you can skip over it. If you drag from the left-hand column to the far right-hand column, the line will go between the dots in the 3 column. Anyway, you don't have to multiply by 3 and divide by 3 unless you have a 3 in the product that you already have. And so I watched him play and I was like, why are you doing that? And he goes, well, because I have to go through 3. And I was like, oh, no, you don't. And so I just showed him, and then you should have seen his face lit up. Like, Kim, this is what we're looking for. The intrigue, the surprise, the delight on this kid's face when he realized that to do these multiples, he didn't have to necessarily divide by 3, multiply by 3 to get rid of the 3 that wasn't there, that he could just like skip over it. Oh, it was so cool. It was amazing y'all, we could do this with math. Like, this is a kid who's not necessarily interested in math. I wouldn't call him a brainiac that's sitting over there like, please give me math puzzles to play with. Like, this is an athlete. This is kind of a crazy kid. It's not his natural interest, but he's intrigued. This game puts him in a place where he's intrigued and he's willing to play. So anyway, games are unique. Check it out. We'll put the link to that in the chat. All right. What's our next?
Day 12. The final and probably biggest free giveaway is the free Developing Mathematical Reasoning workshop.
Can you believe we give this away free?
I know. It's crazy. It's 4 lessons, 4 modules. You can have access for 6 weeks. Learn all about the developing mathematical reasoning graphic. There are modules for different grade bands, kind of an epic everything math is FigureOutable, important things to know. I mean, yeah, it's you have to take the workshop to even get a good feel, and we give that out for free. It's been taken by thousands and thousands and thousands of people everywhere. And what's fun is that sometimes I get into the registration and I'll say, this person has registered for it 4 times. Because there's always something to take away, and you absorb what you can absorb the first time you take it. And even if it's, over 6 weeks, you can only absorb so much. And then they come back around again, or they say, I'm about to go and act some of that in my classroom. Let me register again. No problem. It's free. We have leaders who have their schools take that free workshop to get them an entry into Math is FigureOutable. It's fantastic. Fantastic workshop.
Yeah, leaders, if you ever have what is that day called? Like a trade day, where if teachers do professional learning, then they can like skip one of the PD days or whatever.
Yeah.
Skip is the wrong word, but they sort of trade their time out. There's the possibility that your teachers could take this. They get a certificate for having completed it, so they can sort of prove they did the thing. Kim, we have university professors that use it in their methods classes. If you're a university professor and you're listening to this, you can contact us, support@mathisfigureoutable.com, and ask for the professor link, because that way your students won't get just 6 weeks access, but they can get a whole semester's access, and we give you a year's access so that professors can use it. just as assignments in their math methods classes, K-12. It's a unique opportunity to sort of see the span from super young math up through grade 12 math. What does it mean to go from counting strategies to functional reasoning? And so, yeah, it is epic. I like epic. We put a lot of capital into creating it. It was a one-day workshop that I did with K-12 teachers, and we recorded it and we broke it up, and then we added a module at the end where you get to see high school students in action, reasoning functionally. I'm pretty proud of it, and we're excited to be able to give it out free. Why do we do it? We really want to impact math teaching around the world, and we feel like this is one of the best ways we can do it, is to give you an opportunity to dive in and experience developing mathematical reasoning yourself. All right, y'all, we are going to put a link in the show notes that will give you a link to all of the things that we've mentioned in this episode and in last week's episode. 12 days of free, 12 days of the Math is FigureOutable style to the 12 days of Christmas. Y'all, check out 12 days of free. Check out the links in the show notes. Thanks for being listeners to the podcast. Thanks for tuning in and teaching more and more real math. To find out more about the Math is FigureOutable movement, visit mathisfigureoutable.com. And thanks for spreading the word that math is FigureOutable.